Hi, my name is Victoria. Welcome to this week's prenatal yoga session. We're going to do a session that is really quite good to do if you're feeling a bit under the weather, if you've been a bit sick. I've actually been sick myself for the past week, the whole family. So it's a practice that I've been doing, and I hope that it does you good. So all you'll need today are blocks if you have them. If you have a bolster, of course, you can use that. And we're going to start sitting however you'd like, whether it's cross-legged, on a block, on two blocks, in hero pose. And so as you find your seat, making sure that your sitting bones are equally grounded, the knees can release down, the hips slightly higher than the knees. Feel the lengthening of the spine all the way to the crown of the head. Allow the shoulders to simply relax either side of your ears. Closing the eyes if that's comfortable. And connecting to your breath without trying to just change it in any way. Connecting to the inhale and the exhalation. Keeping the space between the eyebrows relaxed. A slight gap between your upper teeth and your lower teeth. In this way, allowing the jaw to be relaxed. Noticing how you feel as you start your practice without any judgment. Simply observing sensations, maybe thoughts, and breath. Placing the left hand on baby, right hand towards your heart. And we're going to start just by connecting a bit more to baby, to breath. And so I'd like you to visualize as you breathe in, the breath going from baby's heart into yours. And as you breathe out, from your heart into baby's heart. So as you're breathing in, from the left hand into the right. As you breathe out, right hand into the left. And as you follow the breath in this way, sending healing energy and strength to yourself and the child within. Seeing if you can ever so slightly lengthen your breath, even if just by a count or two. Maybe as you're sending these healing vibrations to your child and your child to you, you can add a little mantra. My immune system is strong. My baby's immune system is strong. Or whatever speaks to you most. The next time you breathe out, simply interlace the hands in front of your belly. Draw the hands and palms away from the face as you lengthen the arms overhead, feeling that nice opening and release in the rib cage, creating space for yourself to breathe and for baby. And then keeping that lengthening action through both sides, gently tilt over to the left. Without going too far, we want to keep both sitting bones equally grounded. without feeling strain, simply creating that space. And then come back through center, breathe in here. Exhale, slowly tilt over to the other side. And again, take 1 or 2 breaths here. Slowly make your way back through center, lengthen, and then as you next breathe out, we're going to do a very gentle twist over to the right. So keeping the left hand on the left knee, right fingertips behind you, press into the fingertips. Think of that lengthening through the crown of the head, and then exhale, maybe gently deepen into the rotation. I quite like bending the right elbow. I feel like it just creates a bit more space around the rib cage, and depending on where you are in your pregnancy, that might really feel good. And so again, we're simply thinking here of connecting to the breath, to the movement of the breath in the body without forcing. Remember, you can breathe out through the mouth, maybe just through pursed lips, keeping the jaw relaxed as you do so. Taking 1 more full breath. The inhale slowly brings you back to the center. Interlace the hands this way, this time the odd way, so it'll just feel odd, but other thumb in front on top. And then inhale again, find that length through both sides of the waist. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Really feel that lengthening. We're really creating space into the intercostal muscles. And then exhaling, this time twisting over to the left. Right hand stays inside the right knee, rooting the left fingertips this time behind you. Breathing in, finding length. As you breathe out, maybe gently twisting a little deeper, finding that little bend in the left elbow. And we're not yanking the neck all the way back, so we're kind here to the neck. So less is more. Remember, where does the neck feel more spacious, less tense, and holding there. Breathing in and out, maybe breathing out through pursed lips as you try to slowly deepen a little bit the out breath compared to the in breath. As you next breathe in, slowly come back through center. Lovely. So we're gonna, if you are sat on a block, just move the block to one side. Come onto hands and knees here. And we're gonna stretch a bit the wrists. So starting with the fingertips out to the side. The further away the knees are, the more pressure you're going to have into the wrist. So if your wrists already feel quite sensitive, I would walk the knees in a little closer. So just finding that balance. Engage, gently drawing baby towards the spine here as you think of lengthening the tailbone back. We're going to start to circle the weight of the torso over the wrists. And so quite a nice way to open up into the wrists, creating a bit of mobility. And at the same time, the lower back is completely free of baby's weight. So a nice release, especially in the later stages of pregnancy. And then we'll change direction with the circles. Keep the breath flowing as you do so. The facial muscles relaxed. Lovely. Come back through center. And then see if you can start to draw the fingertips all the way back towards the knees. So if it's comfortable, you're doing both hands at the same time. If it feels a bit too much, just do one hand and then the other. But again, we're just circling a few times in both directions. So you might just want to count 3 to 5 circles and then change. And of course, if you're just doing one hand and then the other, remembering to swap. Keep hugging gently, baby towards the spine here so that we're not putting too much strain in the lower back. And once you've done both hands in both directions evenly, tuck the toes under and then slowly start to sit back onto the heels, hands together, and just circling the wrists, giving them a little break. Again, feel free to do both directions, whatever feels good. You could also do a little waving action. If that feels sensitive, you're just bringing one hand over the wrist and gently rubbing it and then doing the other. So lots of different alternatives, finding whichever one feels good, trying to keep the facial expression relaxed. And just notice mentally how it feels to this position, having the toes tucked under can feel quite difficult, especially if we're not used to doing it. And so just notice your state of mind here, how it feels when you have to be in an uncomfortable position, how you're facing that adversity. Can you try to come back to a state of ease as much as you can through the power of the breath? So by consciously softening the space between the eyebrows, the jaw, the tongue, released from the roof of your mouth. Maybe allowing the shoulders also to just stay very relaxed. And remember, using the breath, your breath is going to be your biggest tool through childbirth. So using that lengthening of the out breath, maybe through pursed lips, knowing that we're not going to stay here forever and this moment too shall pass. Taking gentle breaths in, long releases out. And then slowly walk the hands back to the mat. Untuck the toes and just give the backs of the feet a nice little tapping here just to release. Okay, we're going to do that again, but before we do it, we're going to do a few cat-cows. So spreading the fingers, toes can be either untucked or tucked, really, whatever you want. As you're breathing in, think of drawing the hands back towards the knees as you slowly open and lengthen the spine, gazing forward without overarching the lower back. So we're more thinking here of lengthening. And then as you breathe out, you're as though pressing the hands forward, thinking of that tailbone now rounding, tailbone down towards the earth as you round and spread the space between the shoulder blades, hugging baby towards the spine. So doing this again, slowly, mindfully, connecting to your body, to the breath, creating space and opening as you breathe in and out. Let's do that 2 more times. Lovely. From there, we're tucking the toes again, going back to sit onto the heels. Hands are resting on the lap, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, spine long, chin gently released down towards the chest. And again, allowing whatever comes up to come up, noticing the quality of your thoughts, trying to bring that ease, maybe through visualizing a soft smile across the face. And again, you're remembering to use your breath. So the gentle breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through pursed lips, ensuring really that the jaw is relaxed as you breathe out. Keeping the space between the eyebrows relaxed as you do 3 more breaths in and out. Lovely. And then we come back to all fours, untuck the toes again, just give the feet a bit of a tapping to release. Okay, so from here we're going to bring the left foot to the outside, and I'm just going to come and face you. So left foot to the outside of the mat. Feel free to use blocks here underneath the hands, especially in the later stages of pregnancy when tummy starts to be a little bigger. So you're just creating that space with blocks or your bolster if your wrists are a bit more sensitive. So toes are gently turned out, external rotation, and we're going to simply bring that movement in the pelvis. So visualizing through the left hip a circular motion, bringing a watery quality to the movement. As always, the invitation is to close the eyes, to be more present with the internal sensations, with your breath. So lovely movement to release hip, lower back pain and discomfort, but also such a good birthing prep and in a labor movement. And so the circles can be quite small or a little wider. Honor how you're feeling today, what feels good, and be led by that. And then let's change direction with the circles. Noticing again how it feels in the body, are there any differences as we change the direction of the circle in the hip. Lovely. Coming back through center, just toe heel the foot a little closer, keeping the right hand where it is. Slowly open the left arm out to the sky. So with this opening, really thinking as though your left hand was on the right side of your flank, and you're kind of slowly accompanying that opening, that rotation towards the sky, maybe sinking a little deeper into the hips here. Lovely. And you can either have the left hand to the sky, maybe placing it onto the left thigh and coming onto the outer step of the left foot and sinking down into this opening. Think again, how can you breathe in a way that feels spacious? Maybe hand is on baby here. Breathing out as you feel baby drawing in towards the spine. One more breath. And then slowly come back through center. Place both hands onto either blocks or the floor. Bring the back knee in. And then from here, we're just going to move forward and back into an extended child's pose. So knees out wide, toes touching, and then inhale, come forward. Exhaling, sending the hips back. Inhaling forward. And you can either stay quite straight, or if it feels good, opening just a little bit here. So that will, again, just be dependent on how the body feels today, the stages of pregnancy. Maybe if you are in the last month, you might prefer the version where you're just staying nice and controlled over the wrists If you're maybe just first, second trimester, this might still feel good. So tuning to the body's wisdom, as you know that your body is made for birth, is made to carry your child, and so trusting to the innate wisdom within. Lovely. And then we come back to all fours, and we're going to go to the other side. So either hands to the floor or on blocks. And we're going to step the right foot now to the outside of the mat, toes gently turned out. And so again, we're starting by circling the right hip here in one direction. And I should have said, of course, if your knee feels a bit sensitive, just fold your mat, either placing this blanket or folding the mat, making sure that you're supporting your body and your changing body every step of the way. And notice, how does it feel on this side? We usually tend to have one side that's a bit more open and one a little more restricted. And so seeing if you can connect to that difference, those differences. Keep breathing. And then change direction, paying attention again to the movement, trying to iron out any rough edges, keeping the breath flowing as evenly as you can. Lovely. Coming back through center, maybe just walking the foot in just a little closer, keeping the left hand this time either on the block or the floor. Start to release the pelvis forward and down, coming onto the outer step of the right foot, and then slowly, maybe with the right hand onto the left side of the waist, accompanying that opening of the chest towards the sky. Hand maybe to the sky, maybe hand to the back of the head if that feels better, or hand inside of the leg. But wherever you are again, how can you create that space, that softening, maybe using your breath here, breathing in through the nose and out, maybe through the mouth, lengthening your out breath however much you can. Remember to keep that jaw as relaxed as you can, the tongue released from the roof of your mouth, and the space between the eyebrows soft. 2 more breaths here. Slowly bring that right foot back in, hands on the blocks on the floor. Gently hug baby towards the spine as you bring the knee back in. So let's bring the knees together, feet together, and you're just going to move a little bit side to side here. Hands can be on the floor just to release into the hips. Lovely. And then so from here we're going to come and lengthen a bit the back of the legs. So we're going to open both legs out, flex the feet and trying to think of the action of rooting the heels down and dragging the heels a little bit towards you. The back of the knees will lift up, but you should hopefully notice that by doing so, there's no rounding of the lower back. We're allowing the pelvis to gently tilt forward, keeping the lumbar spine nice and long. So with that action, rooting and drawing the heels towards you, we're going to clasp the hands together and just start to circle as though you had a big pot and you were stirring honey, whatever you'd like to stir. But again, bringing this watery quality to the movement as the legs stay gently engaged and the breath fluid. And then let's pause and change direction. Lovely. Back through center. Maybe just giving the legs a little tapping. Okay, placing the hands to the back of the knees. Bring the knees back in. Placing the soles of the feet together. Have a nice sort of diamond shape here. So avoiding, as we come into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, avoiding placing the hands onto the toes and yanking the toes towards you. That's just going to create a torsion into the knee, which is not going to be appreciated by your knee. So either hands just on the top of the foot or maybe underneath, but the action here is really rooting the feet down towards the earth. Think of lengthening through the sternum bone, finding a long spine, and then just coming down however much feels good. So you could be really quite straight here, but think of the action, the base of the body gently rooting into the floor and then coming just down wherever feels comfortable. Breathing here. Softening the eyes or closing the eyes. Bringing that awareness inwards. Being present with your breath, sensations and sounds, without attaching yourself or holding on to any one in particular for too long. Keep the jaw relaxed, tongue released from the roof of your mouth. Lovely. On the next exhalation, slowly coming back up, placing the hands to the outer knee and then using the strength in the arms to bring the legs back together. Let's open the feet as wide as your mat, placing the hands behind you and then exhaling, knees move to the right, drawing the left knee and releasing it towards the earth. Inhale, coming back through center, exhaling, knees to the left, and this time the right knee releases down and forward. So doing that just a few more times, side to side, with that awareness. Left knee moving down and forward. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, right knee moving down and forward. Last time, side to side. Coming back through center. Lovely. So we're going to just come, before we move into our final resting pose, into Yogi Squat and Malasana. So either coming with the feet to the floor. If you'd like a bit of support, which can always feel nice, you could place a block or your bolster underneath the sitting bones. The important thing is that we find that spaciousness through the upper body. So whichever variation you're choosing, thinking of gently drawing the elbows into the thighs, thighs into the elbows, as they hug one another, creating space through the crown of the head. And then we're just going to do 5 reps here of a pelvic floor awareness. So visualizing, as you're breathing out, the release of the whole pelvic floor. Visualizing maybe a lotus flower slowly, gently moving downwards and expanding. And then as you're breathing in, the petals closing and gently lifting up. So the exhale is not forceful. It's really letting go, finding that softness as you release down and out. Inhaling as you find that very gentle contraction. 10 times in your own time. After the 10th round, maybe opening the eyes if they were closed, placing the hands behind you, bringing the sitting bones to the floor, and then making your way into your version of Shavasana. So coming to lie on your left hand side, and making sure that as you're going down, you're not going down through the back, you're coming to the side, using the hands to gently support yourself, placing, if you have a block or a cushion, underneath the head, and maybe the second block can be just for the arm, the right arm to release. And as you make your way into this resting position, allowing the body to soften, maybe right hand is on baby, finding any moment you can to connect. As you find gratitude for the time you've taken today on your mat, connecting to yourself, to the baby inside of you, letting go of any breathing practice if you were still using one, coming back to a very natural rhythm of breathing, allowing everything to soften, and allowing yourself just the next few moments of silence, of time to listen and connect with yourself. Our body is doing such a big work every single day as they're growing this little person inside of you. And we tend to live in a world where everything is then rushing. And so carving out even 1 or 2 minutes to be able to lie still, nothing to do apart from being here and paying attention. Your nervous system will thank you. Baby will thank you. Depending on where you are in your pregnancy, if it's the second pregnancy anyway, around 4 months, you kind of might even start feeling baby inside of you be kicking around. If it's your first pregnancy, that will happen maybe in a few more weeks. But either way, as we slowly start to emerge, taking some fuller breaths, maybe just stretching one arm, one leg. Then placing the right hand in front of you, keeping the head very heavy. You're lengthening the top leg, pressing into the right hand, keep the head relaxed, and then slowly rise up, coming into whatever seated position feels right for you. Placing, again, one hand over baby, one hand over your heart. And we'll seal today's practice by sharing 3 Brahmari breaths, the bumblebee breaths. And this is a lovely breathing practice to help send your nervous system into a parasympathetic state of rest, relaxation, and at the same time sending this lovely vibration to your baby. And the idea, for those who haven't practiced Brahmari, is we're breathing in and then just as long as you can humming on the out breath. And so that will be very different, and you'll probably have a different length of exhalation to mine. But we're doing that 3 times. Breathing in. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. See you next week for another session of prenatal yoga.